Here we are. Welcome to episode 16 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. If you are in the junk removal, demo, solid waste hauling industry and you want to grow, scale, sell, buy, get out, do something with your business, learn from the guys that do it all day, every day, you have come to the right place. As always, I'm Andy Weins, joined by my good buddy, Casey Bubba Lawrence. This episode is just you and I, Case, from the great state of Texas. Texas made. Looks like a home plate symbol on your shirt. Anyways, what are we talking about today?
Well, so we were going to have a guest on, but she couldn't make it until next week. I'm going to get with her later. I actually wanted to kind of freestyle today and kind of tell you about the kind of day I had and how opportunities are always all around you. It's only up to you if you take them or not. I've ran into so many people that are like, man, I never had the opportunity to this. I never had the opportunities you had. And I call bullshit because opportunities are everywhere. You just have to, first you have to realize what they look like. And you can't be afraid to take a step forward. Like, hey, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna entertain this idea. That's an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a fail, hey, you know what? I fell on my face. Cool. You still took it. You ran with it and you learned. Anyways, so
you did the fucking thing.
Did the thing, yeah.
So day in the life of Casey Bubba Lawrence.
All right. So about 6 years ago, I was fresh. Actually, it was my first year, 2016, fresh into junk removal. We had a stupid deal on a billboard that we share with another person, and it was because it was so cheap and we didn't know anything. We're like, let's see what happens. So we did it. We didn't get one job from it until the very last day. The city code enforcement person called us the last day that it was up. She called us and was like, hey, I got this big ass job. It's for the city, blah, blah, blah. So it was a really good connection. It worked out for the best. But there was this big job that was so crazy to us. We didn't really know how to tackle it. A ton of machines. It was like an old auto body shop. This guy, he was blind and he loved to collect all this salvage bullshit. And he was stubborn, didn't want to get rid of it. He was like an exterior hoarder, right? He just hoarded all these machines and forklifts and cars, just old shit on about an acre property. He just stuffed it full. So we actually went out and did an estimate for the city, and they couldn't even afford the job because their budget was so limited. So they said, well, here's the rest of the budget we're allowed. Let's see what all we can get done. And we did what we could, but nothing ever came of it because the following year we shrunk in territory size. Someone else came in. The city did not like that other someone. So they're like, yeah, we're not going to work with them. Fuck that. And the property sat there. The guy was old and just, code enforcement's up his ass. Anyways, fast forward to today. I was just wrapping up this big demo estimate for a 6,300 square foot house. Very, very nice. I'm going to screen. Yeah, I'm going to screen share the house with you because I want you to see this fucking thing. But anyways, I was just finishing up and I get a phone call and a text message from that code enforcement lady from years and years ago. She said, hey, there's this guy. He's going to be calling you. His uncle used to own this property on this address. You gave us an estimate a long time ago. His uncle died, and now everything is on him. And he needs to get it all cleared out because he has to sell the two properties. And I said,
yep.
What two properties? I remember one property. She goes, well, there's another property 3 miles down the road. It's the exact same shape. And I was like, oh, my gosh. So he called me.
Music to my ears.
Oh, exactly. So he called me. We talked. And now tomorrow I'm going to go check out these two massive junked, stuff full of scrap and machine properties that now we have a time constraint, which is good for me, and a need for removal, which is also good for me.
Yep.
And the cool thing is now I'm not in a limited entity like a franchise, as well as I've learned so much over the years, I can actually provide a better priced service for him, and I could still go home with money and not have to kill myself because of all the stuff that I've learned, not just from with you, but stuff, as far as being efficient. So that's exciting. I wanted to kind of share that with you, man. And I'm going to try to screen share, but it's kind of hard. Actually, I'm just going to text
press the
you.
button.
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Shoot
me a text.
I'm going to text you the address.
I'm the computer savvy guy in this equation, which yeah, I'm the ops guy. Well, here's the deal, right? A couple things come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
First off, you're right. Franchises. I had another business partner, buddy of mine, hit me up today, and he's like, he's involved in a franchise nonprofit, and he's like,
what?
Dude, he goes,
That's
I
weird.
know why you left the franchise world. It's a weird one. Anyways, he's like, I know why you left the franchise world. He goes, I'm dealing with this bullshit with a nonprofit. It's not even his full-time jam. It's an annoyance that he's dealing with. He's like, I can just fucking do this on my own. He got involved 7-10 years ago. But what he realized in the franchising world that a lot of us realized was, yeah, they know the first 3 or 4 chapters of the fucking book. And once you get to chapter 5, you're pretty much on your fucking own when it comes to a lot of these franchises.
Yeah.
Because they can only get you so far. Not all of them. I actually watched a video on Domino's today. That guy was fucking wicked smart.
Dude.
Basically invented
pizza delivery.
The pizza box that holds. Well, no, he didn't invent delivery, but what he did was he realized that a lot of pizza places would only deliver until they got a decent reputation, and then would stop delivering. And then whatever. Like, my point is, like, Domino's, obviously McDonald's, Culver's for Midwestern people, you know what I'm talking about.
I've heard of Culver's.
Like, those franchises. What's that? You've heard of Culver's?
Yeah,
Culver's
yeah.
Delicious. Right. Those franchises have obviously figured out what's proprietary, but you have to have something proprietary because after a couple of years or months, whatever it is, by the time you get to chapter 5 of the book, you know more shit than the franchisor knows about your area. And then even to your point, right, the price you would have done it for a few years ago, it's not that price changed, but your processes have changed.
Right.
So that gets me excited. What also, do you want me to share this? The picture itself?
The image of
what do you want me to share?
The image of the property. So if you zoom in on satellite, you'll see the
Yeah. Right now I'm at the street.
Okay.
I'm at the street level.
Go a bird's eye view.
I'm working. You know what? Some days success looks like that I don't have to press these buttons. Like Joe Rogan when he does his podcast, he's like, "Hey, guy, bring up the thing and do the stuff," and it's like it just fucking happens. You know what I mean? I got a guy.
Wave your
Taylor's
hand.
awesome. I'm sure I could get him to do that. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the problem is your address pops up as soon as I. Let me see if I can do it with the address.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. Like,
all right.
By the time this airs, I don't think anybody's going to be trying to steal this from me.
That's fine. I found it. I figured it out. I'm not gonna lie how excited I get just you telling me about that property. So I grew up in properties like this. These are like my dad's friends. Have properties like this.
Oh man, look how awesome
this
that looks.
It's this property here. I know, and it's right next to what looks like a construction yard.
Yeah.
Like, and it's on the back. Like, here's the deal. It's like a residential street. That's the other thing. Texas is so fucking unregulated. You fucks. Like, railroad tracks, handful of houses, industrial park.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that makes sense.
Does, man.
Right? Anyways, so yeah. Like,
what do you do over there? We don't ask questions.
That, I see this. Yeah. Like, I see this. I see a tin rope that looks like it's repurposed.
Mm-hmm.
I see an RV, a truck.
That's an 18-wheeler.
The house is pretty insignificant at this point.
18-wheeler.
Yeah. I've actually done one. I had a subdivision that had HOA, and this guy had a 53-foot semi in his backyard, and he had pine trees in front of it. Nobody knew it was there. Like, him and his wife were the only ones that knew it was there. He must have snuck it in at night. Like, snuck it in and had these. I don't know if again, chicken and egg situation. I don't know if he had the 53-foot semi or the pine. I didn't get that fucking job. That irritates me. That was like my first summer. I didn't get that fucking job. Anyways, all right, yeah, stuff like this gets me excited.
So
because
the metal roof building,
it's complicated. Yep.
That's his workshop. So that's full.
Of course,
full of like old ass band saws, drill presses, profile machines, you name it. Heavy stuff. One of the machines was like 12,000 pounds. We couldn't even lift it with a forklift. Speaking of forklift, there's a crane right out front. You know,
I know. I was thinking like little trebuchet action, looking like
yeah.
Like, okay, growing up as a kid, like this still gets me excited. Like I'm not gonna lie, I would come down to Texas to do this job with you. You got a half of a Geo Metro here.
Off, well, this is a half of the job. This is one of two properties.
Half of the other truck. I know. I'm excited. What are they blocking off? They're blocking off like branding.
I don't know. I think they block off anything that resembles a license plate.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh, yeah, this property, when you got stuff leaning up against stuff,
Yeah.
you know the insides are good, right? Like the inside's got to be the good stuff. No, yeah, so that gets me excited. All right, I'll jump off here and go look at the other property. But yeah, these are the jobs, and these are the places. Like when you first start in business, I have also seen people that failed miserably at these jobs.
Yeah.
Because they get them, and then they don't know how to tackle them. And then to your point, you overbid it or bid it in a way that did not close the job because you didn't know what you're doing. Now, this one you can do time and material all day.
Well, and also
because you can figure it out.
The first time was dealing with the city and their budget. Now I'm dealing with the private owner who needs to sell it. And there's 3 ways of going about doing this. I can either say, hey, Mr. Owner, here, once I figured all the stuff out, I'm like, hey, this is how much it's going to cost you,
I like this one.
because I'll make whatever on the back end. And then option B is, hey, this is a lot of shit, so it's just going to cost this much. I'm not sure about my back end. Or option 3 is you pay half of it, the buyer pays half of it, because when you sell the property. The cool thing is what gets me the income to wait on the sale is the scrap, is the recycling aspect of that part,
Yeah. So real quick, this one here, where's the house? Is this the?
There's no house.
Is this the house?
Trailers, man. It's that
There's no house.
That skinny
it's just
property.
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
Doesn't that look awesome?
A lot of people, again, it looks awesome. This is a matter of perspective, right?
Yeah.
That's all this is. This is the one the city was coming after you for, yeah? Or coming after you for?
No, the first one was.
Really?
Yeah, the first one
looks significantly. Yeah, this one looks significantly worse, given the fact you have a house here, RV park here, and what looks like a newer development behind it.
Yeah.
Again, like this is the difference between people that do this industry and people that don't. Like I look at this, I see nothing but opportunity.
I got so excited.
Trucks and trailers. Yeah, I'm like, man, this looks like a lot of product. This tractor gets me excited. I'm not gonna lie. I would ship that thing back to Wisconsin.
This got me excited because I immediately started thinking of all the different things I could do because of how much we've learned over the past 6 years. It's like, holy shit, I don't have to just go at it with a freaking skid steer, right? Like, you don't have to just throw everything away.
And figure it out. Yeah.
This could be, not just profitable, but it could also be fun.
Oh, yeah.
But the point is, this connection I made so many years ago, and it was through a city, and we did a lot of work with the city at that time. But she called me knowing I do not have a junk removal company anymore. But she also knew I would take care of this person.
Yeah, figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Like the answer. Well, here's the problem I see with a lot of entrepreneurs is they don't understand the answer has got to be yes. Right, there is a power in no, and in time you can say no, and you can figure out what the no is and things you don't do. But otherwise, if it's in your wheelhouse, if it's safe, if you're going to get paid, right, check a couple boxes. The answer is yes, and that is I will figure it out later. And that's a little bit of the military mindset that you and I have is that we are yes people, right? Not yes people as in we follow blindly, no, but yes people where we don't say no. We don't use words like can't, won't, don't. We're like, all right, that looks like opportunity. I would imagine a lot of people drive by that property. They see nothing but challenges, right? And like junk, right? Obligations. Remember we learned from Mike, who's on episode 5 or 6. I still have it right here. It says options over obligations, right? And even to that point, opportunities over obligations. You said at the top of the hour here, right? There's opportunities all around us. It's those of us that seek them out and those of us that capitalize on them. So where other people would look at this property as an obligation, their job, starting a company, junk, trash, whatever you want to call it, as an obligation, we look at it as an opportunity to make a few bucks, to enjoy life, to recycle, to learn about the world around us, because we look at these opportunities as just that.
Can you see my
not
screen?
Obligations. You figure out how to screen share? Yeah, what's that?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
The house?
Yeah.
That's the demo job.
Yeah. You're ripping that thing down?
Yeah.
Dude, I will move in that house tomorrow.
Oh man, dude.
Why would someone rip that house down?
Because they want to they don't want to remodel. They literally said we don't want to remodel, we want to tear it down. It's a custom builder that is hiring me, and he approved it today. And it's a custom builder I met 6 years ago as well. Today was the day, man. I don't know what happened, but it's a good fucking day.
And last week you were on the fucking struggle bus.
Yeah, so that's the other
when
thing.
You and I talked.
This whole week, I'm focusing on, my new venture and what you and I talked about, and it's exciting as well. But the cool thing is, this kind of just happened, and obviously, I'm not going to say no. Like you just said, we're going to say yes because that's what we do. And my thing is, this right here could possibly be exactly what I need to not just get me to the next level, but get me in a comfortable spot to not have to rush into the next level, right? I can actually be prepared. Hell, I can come up to Milwaukee and sit down with Andy fucking Weins and we can brainstorm for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be struggle and hustle all the damn time. So that's why you have to look at these opportunities.
It's a grind.
Now, I could have easily said no to this demo.
Oh, yeah.
Look how big that house was.
You've done a great job through the years of building yourself a runway, right? I'm one of those, like, I'll figure it out once I get it in the fucking air.
Yeah.
Even, you were talking about getting on the franchise organization way before I was.
Yeah.
And it took you 2 years to get out, right? Now, you built yourself a runway and you got out your way. I said, fuck it, I'm done. Called my lawyers and made it happen.
Yeah.
Right. And so God bless you for getting the runway where I'm, more fire and brimstone. You're going at it with a strategic mindset, but you can't abandon the course that you're on.
Right.
And the fact that, your phone rings kind of out of nowhere ish on 2 sweet spot jobs. But again, it's compounding interest. A lot of people in junk removal, I remember the first year or two, people like, oh, why am I not getting these big jobs? Why? Well, because people only seen you once or twice.
Yeah.
You haven't proven it. And I'm not going to go the whole, like, the universe wasn't ready for you. You just need to pray some more. No, the fact is, like, you don't have the right tools, equipment, knowledge, personnel, cojones.
No one knows you.
Line of credit, whatever, to actually make this fucking happen.
Yeah, and people think a closed, like, okay, let me ask you a question, Andy. If this was year 2 for you and you got a big-ass job coming up, it's an estimate. You get up there, you're like, holy crap, this is like a $200,000 job. I'm going to bid this out. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You bid it out. They say no. Do you think that's a fail?
No,
not at all. I think that's that's a huge win because now guess what? You just did something that you weren't ready for, but you at least got to go through the steps and do the thing and look at the process.
Correct. You went through the whole You're not going to fucking hit 100% of the shots you take, so you got to shoot every once in a while. Actually, conversely, we had a job last week. We went out and did an estimate for a commercial demo. Interior, big ass fucking glass. Like, had to rent equipment, probably to bring in a glazer subcontractor. And we looked at it and we're like, we're not the best fit company. We didn't say no. We just said, we're not the best fit company.
Yeah.
There is a better company out there for you. And I told Ken, our GM, he's like, because we in July, we always get this weird slump in our business. I'm not weird. People are on vacation and shit.
Every business hit hard.
That's July. It. Right, every business, unless they're tourism, right? Right. Spike, whatever. July, we take this dip. And Ken even said to me last week, it was like midweek, he's like, we got to put some jobs on the board. I said, I understand that, but we're not going to settle for what we don't do.
Right.
Right. So in that case, after 6 years of doing this in some capacity, full time, and 20 years of doing this overall, I know what jobs I can and can't make money at. I know where my sweet spot is, but I know it because I've already done it. And I've already fucked up, for lack of a better term, right? I made choices that didn't work out, or I took gambles that didn't pan out, or I lost money here, or I lost money there, or whatever, right? I mean, thankfully, not too many of my guys have gotten hurt through the years. We blew up a transmission last week on a fucking truck because
that's how you do things.
Fuck, right? Yeah, because that's not like it was nobody's fault. Apparently, after 70,000 miles, you blow up transmissions, and that's normal according to my mechanic. I mean, I don't know how normal that is, but hey, God bless. $6,500 transmission later. But again, you don't learn these things until you go through it. The whole goal of listening to podcasts, reading books, taking in content online is that you learn these things without having to experience them. Yeah. And or you accelerate the learning, but you still have to go through the paces. You still have to go to the estimates where you lose it. You don't get the job. or the one where you eventually say, hey, no, this isn't a good fit?
No.
Or you
go ahead.
Go. No,
well,
go ahead.
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
Say, and also, for the people out there that are like saying, well, man, I wish I could get some big job like that. Here's what you don't understand. A lot of times, especially guys like you and I, we've had those big jobs and lost our ass at some point or in some aspect.
Oh, my God.
And guess what? The only reason we kept going is either because of blind luck, we just happen to have the money to keep going, or, you know, we didn't extremely lose our ass, but we didn't make any money either. And a lot of these people I'm seeing, they couldn't afford a huge hit like that. They want these big jobs, but they're a one-man show to where it's like, hey, the job sucked and you're not making any money. Well, now you got to close down shop because you got to pay for whatever.
Yeah, I did a 6-figure job year 2 in our business
for the VA,
and it was a government job, for the VA, and they were on 90 days out. So from the day I closed the job, I didn't get paid for 90 days.
See, that's hard.
Right? I remember I went to the temp. I used temps on that job. I went to the temp agency and cut them a check for like $10,000.
They want their money now.
And I didn't. Right. Then plus on top of payroll, this was like 2-3 weeks worth of temps. On top of payroll, I'd already been paying. On top of rent, trucks, all the other stuff. I got the invoice because we hauled out a lot of material that was MSW with dumpsters, which we typically didn't use a lot of dumpsters. But I got the invoice for dumpsters, and I was like, right. But I weathered the storm to a point where by the time I got the VA job, I had survived those 90 days. That was it. I didn't. Right. Like I had just I'm thinking I got to get a line of credit. I got to get a loan. I got to sell a truck because those 90 days, I'm out all those expenses with no dollars in. Now, I predicted it. I knew that. And there was scrap we got from the job. There was money otherwise coming in. But that job could have bankrupted somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
that's the thing is
you can make money, but you got to bankroll it still.
In 2020, that was my biggest job in junk removal. And it was a massive demo. And I will say the one thing we had going for us was, for us, 2020 was a great year in junk removal, but it was rough because I think I called you at this point. At one point in time, in the middle of the demo, right? Like we tried to get a deposit. They're like, yeah, we don't do that because we're a $1 billion company. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I had to get a bond.
Cool story, bro.
You don't have bonds in Wisconsin, but down here, I had to get a payment and performance bond because a part of the work was for the city I was working in. So they're like, hey, we want to make sure your subs get paid. So you're going to have to pay us, and you don't get the last 10% of this until 90 days after completing your job. So now I had to wait 90 days just to get the last 10%. And then I had to wait 60 days for another big percentage from the actual job source. And I also had upfront costs, machines, labor, you name it. Now, granted, the machines, I was on a line of credit with this company, but not the labor.
Which buys you days.
Buys me days.
Yeah. Buys you days.
And the one thing I learned was we lost all our personnel. Okay. For some freaking reason, 4 drivers turned in their 2 weeks. One of them was actually my freaking ops manager. He left. So my mom and my stepdad were both out of the country, not just out of town, out of the country. And my admin chick, her brand new husband went to beating on her. So she had personal shit. So she left and moved. And at one point in time, I remember this, Andy, I'm in a big ass excavator and I'm doing this. Shut down. Hey, J-Dog Junk Removal, this is Casey. How can I help you? Cool. All right. I'm writing shit down. All right, cool. That's done. Go back to tearing shit up. At lunchtime, I'm going to schedule that job for whenever I can do it. But it was one of those things. I couldn't have got through that job if it was year 1 or year 2 because I didn't know how. I didn't know how to improvise. I didn't know how to fight the fires I was given, So, for those out there that want these big ass jobs, hey, look, I respect it and I get it. Always stay hungry. But at the same time, be careful what you ask for because there's going to be some times you're going to get a big job. And it's up to you, honestly, how you handle it. Because I'll tell you right now, there's some jobs I look back and I'm like, I'm so fucking glad I didn't do it. Or, damn, I wish I wouldn't have done it. Because you can't always think it's going to be like the other. I honestly thought it was awesome that you did a VA job. How cool is that? Dude, I would love to do a big ass government job. But you know what? 90-day net, F that shit. Let me tell you.
Well, I remember that everyone, and that was the thing. A lot of guys, and again, if you're a chuck on a truck, right, where it's you and your helper, and like if you did that job,
you don't get paid for 3 months.
I would argue you might be at. Well, on top of that, for 30 days, all your resources are used up.
Man.
So the reason why we brought in I think we were running 4 crews at the time. Actually, yeah, we were running 4 crews at the time, and we went down to half staff. So we had 2 crews at the VA, plus my brother, plus like 5 or 6 temps every day. And then we had our ops person still doing ops. We only had 2 crews outside of the VA. And now I had to cover down on my brother, which was like the fleet commander role. And now I'm doing all the estimates. So we had to contract our day-to-day business to expand our commercial business. And it worked out. It doesn't always work out that way. I had a hell of a business partner.
Everything.
Oh, I had a hell of a business partner in my brother. Had I not had my brother to manage that job, if I would have had to manage that job for those 30 days, the rest of our business would have been on fire. It's that simple. Even last 2 weeks, our ops person was out. I ended up covering down on ops the last 2 weeks, and our general manager was here, so at least he could do fleet and covered on the fleet commander position, which he's pretty much been doing because we don't have a fleet commander. But if you don't have 1 or 2 critical people in your business, big jobs will fucking bankrupt you. Maybe not just financially, but it'll take your time, it takes your money, it takes all your effort, and now all your resources are gone. And what you don't realize is the short term and even long term impact of that is the rest of your business suffers. Yeah. There is nothing wrong. I've been there. I have been driving up and down the alleys in Milwaukee where I used to pay to pick up appliances, or at least not get paid, right? Yeah. But I would pay for appliances because I knew I could make money on the back end. To now we get paid for it. There's nothing wrong with where you're at, but there is something wrong when you don't recognize where you're at and who your target customer is and what you can actually handle.
Yeah. Well,
you can only get burned so many times.
Well, that's the thing is you have to, in my honest opinion. So once I talked to both people today, the first thing I did, I picked up the phone and I called a junk removal company that I am very familiar with that recently been working with me. And I said, hey, you want to get into junk removal? You just started, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said, I have an opportunity for you. And he goes, really? What is it? And I go, I have an opportunity to where you can learn everything you need to learn on a good scale. And the only thing you have to do is pay me for my time because I'm going to show you step by step. And he goes, I don't care how much it costs. Tell me when. Because he's hungry enough to grow. Now, on the other hand, I didn't just hand him the job and say, give me a cut. No, because I think
no.
It's too big of an opportunity.
Yeah, you still got to run it. Yeah, you still got to run it and oversee it, but you don't have to be running the machines. And on a job like that, in my opinion, you're going to have probably 1/3 cost, right?
I was actually thinking
let's just use hillbilly math.
The way I was looking at
quarter cost.
The only reason why is the weight involved with all the scrap.
So exactly. Budget 25%, but anticipate 30% cost, right? Because I don't factor in scrap until the back end because I don't know about you, our scrap market's way down. We're down to 120 a ton, so 6 cents a pound. So again, this is why I don't bank on scrap. So if I was going to bid that job, this is how I bid it. If I'm aggressive, I take 25% of cost, do a 4 multiple. Because there's going to be some hidden costs, there's going to be some inefficiencies built in.
Trash and
so you're going to end up having, that's it, right? So whatever your bid is, and this is just for everybody out there, you're going to end up with 30% cost, 30% for you to make, 30% profit for your organization, and your fixed expenses, right? You're living out the house, so that ain't a big deal, right? And then you still have your 10% profit. That's how I bid jobs. Mm-hmm. Because now, even if my costs double, I still pay myself, I still have 10% profit. Or in this case, you could easily say, okay, here's my 30% hard costs. I'm going to hire another company to basically run the job. You can give them 30%. You get 30% for fucking being there, right? And then 10%. But I would even argue, I would tell these guys, like, all right, tell you what, this is what you would normally probably make off this job. You're going to get half of it because I'm going to walk you through it. So now you're still making 55% roughly on a job. Yeah. Right? They're making 15. 30% goes towards the job, but the knowledge they're going to learn along the way, and it's going to cost you a little bit of time to walk them through. It's going to take you actually longer to teach them versus you just banging out with your own guys. But the thing is, you don't have your own guys right now, right? You have a guy. I'm sure you could call a couple people, but this new company is going to be more reliable than name that temp, name that buddy, name that former employee that's going to work for you on the night.
And the biggest thing for me is, you can call it what it is, but I'm pushing liability away from myself. Okay. At the same time, I'm pushing costs away from myself, and I'm using the best thing that I have in my arsenal, and that's my knowledge. That's my experience. And the cool thing with this guy is I met him probably 6 months ago. He wanted to get in a small demo at first. He was just trying to do bang out job with a skid steer. And he did great. I was like, hey man, I'm not going to just go off of your word or what people say. I want to hire you and see how you do. And if you suck, I'll tell you. And he goes, well, this is what I charge. I said, cool. I'll pay you at the end of the day, every day. And he said, okay. So I did. And he did a great job. So then he hit me up. Hey, I want to get in a junker wheel. I've been kind of doing this, and this. I said, well, you already set up for it. He has a nice trailer and truck and skid steer. He has 10 acres out by where he lives with a warehouse. He wants to use 2 of it for his junker wheel business. I said, perfect. I can show you how to make it work for you.
Yeah, you're way ahead. You're way ahead of most. Yeah. That's some year 3 shit right there.
Hey, and once again, for everybody listening, he didn't just go and buy this shit and then say, I want to be in junker wheel.
No.
He had it, and now he's going to use a portion of it.
He had another business he was rocking and rolling where the equipment just makes sense.
And that's the thing is, so obviously I can help him in that area as well. So when I called him, I told him, I go, I'll let you know what I would charge. I'm gonna go look at the place first because it's been 5 years since I've seen it, and as you can tell, I'm sure it's changed. I'm sure there's more shit, but for me, that's what it's going to be. Like what you said just now, that's kind of how it's going to be structured. You're going to pay me for my time, and then I'm going to get a piece of the profit. That's just how it is. Which will probably shake out around 50%, 60 maybe. I doubt it'll be 60, but about 50.
My hillbilly math says 55.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
55 if you run it right.
And if you're truly wanting to succeed in your business, then you know what? Get a coach, get a mentor, like I'm doing with this guy. He's investing in himself because he's like, hey, look, I want you to show me how to do something like this, because I guarantee you, I'm going to not just show him how to do the job. I'm going to say, hey, this is how I got this fucking job, because this is the second time now I have been hired to do the same job because it's that fucking big. And the first time they ran out of money. But it's one of those things where, this is why I'm excited today. I was so excited because, I don't believe in luck per se. I kind of believe in you kind of make your own path to success. And whether that be immediate or down the road, this is down the road, obviously. But I want everybody to understand that what you do today matters tomorrow and next year and the year after, especially in business, how you conduct your business.
Well, the old adage doesn't fail me, which is luck is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. Yeah. You only control one of those two things. Are you prepared? And I'm not talking about tools and equipment and knowledge, right? That I am talking about, are you mentally aware of how you show up to the world? Are you talking to the right people? Are you engaging? Are you confident in your craft? Once you start doing that, doors start fucking and opening, right? If you go in curmudgeon with this, the world fucking owes me some shit attitude, you're not going to fucking get there because the world doesn't know you dick. You got to go out there humble and hungry and ready to hustle, right? There's your 3 fucking alliteration words of the day, right? Hungry, humble, and then you got to hustle, right? But you got to be that, and if you want to succeed. And I love hearing how excited you are, right? Like, I get excited when shit comes back to the warehouse all the time because I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, another job banged out, right? Like, I look at the numbers and I look at all this other shit. But I like hearing on our radio when I'm hearing guys like, yep, got the job done. We're running ahead of schedule. We got a lot of stuff we can donate. There's stuff we can recycle. Like, all that stuff.
Man, my favorite thing to hear was, hey, we finished up early. We went ahead and moved up this job. And it's like, I'm like, yes, sir. That's how you run the show.
Yep.
There's one thing I truly believe in, and I want to know what you think about this. It's teach what you know, learn what you don't. I cannot stress this enough. I love learning. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's so many times I've been in situations to where I'm like, I don't know shit about this topic, but I'm interested because I don't know anything about it and I want to know. Now, I have to gauge how much do I want to know. Do I want to become an expert in this, or I just want to know enough to know what it is, understand it, and then make my own decision as far as where I go with it. But in this freaking industry, I don't care who you are. You can't stop learning. There's always another way, better way, more efficient way, more exciting way of doing something in this industry.
Yep.
And these big companies, I'm telling you, these big companies are jealous of guys like you and I. They are.
Well, because we're nimble. I don't give a shit if they're jealous. We're nimble. But what's interesting is every industry out there is changing, right? There's not an industry that's fucking stagnant. Now, there are some industries that have gotten stale because too many power players are good with the status fucking quo, but we're not. And when it comes to the environment, when it comes to veteran transitioning, entrepreneurship, the worlds we live in, none of that is fucking stagnant, right? I mean, I look at my schedule this fall. I'm going to be fucking doing this podcast out of hotel rooms for a while there because I already went to the Weins convention. I'll just put it out there. If everyone wants to hang out with me this fall, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at JunkCon in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm going to the Scrap Expo in Louisville. I'm going to hang out with my buddy Zervis down there. I'm going to the National Small Business something in DC. I should probably know what the fuck I'm going to, right? Go sit down and basically listen to how the big boys talk about political issues when it comes to small businesses. I have decided as of today that I'm going to meet with you and hang out with you in Vegas for MIC for a military influencers conference, right? But it's because I'm prioritizing investing in myself. And I think about this every night. Like, do you go home and piss away 3, 4, 5 hours on fucking Netflix, or are you researching your craft? I'm constantly watching content or reading about entrepreneurship. Or I was talking about earlier today, I watched a video on Domino's because I'm like, that's fucking interesting. I watch video on Lori Grenier from Shark Tank. I can watch Shark Tank every day. Fucking love Shark Tank. I love listening to the way that business people talk about business. I'm addicted to it. But it's knowledge.
If you have a bad habit of going home and watch TV every day, right? Like, hey, we're all guilty of. We've done it, right? Hell, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm on a Hell's Kitchen kick right now. I don't know why. Don't get me wrong, dude. That's fucking awesome.
That's business. I mean, it's not a total write-off.
I'll tell you, if you're gonna go home and search for movies, here's the cool thing about Prime. You can search and find anything on Prime. And yeah, you may have to rent it, but if you're going to watch a movie, watch something like, okay, for instance, The Founder, Story of McDonald's. You know what? It's a great story because, first of all, most people didn't know about that. But second of all, it's probably one of the best movies on sales tactics. Is it morally right? No. But it's a great sales tactic movie. Same thing with all these other movies.
It was.
I mean, search.
Yeah, he wasn't a great person.
Search for movies that could actually help you open up some can of worms in your head,
If you okay, here's the deal. We're 38 minutes into this podcast. If you're still listening at this point in the podcast,
bullshit episode.
You've already invested 38 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, right? We ain't got a fucking plan, so let's go to get about life. That is the plan, right? But let's think about it. If you invest 1 hour a day in some capacity, podcast, watching clips on YouTube about your craft, watching a movie that's about business in general, that's 365 hours you're going to invest this year. That's like a fucking semester of college,
dude.
Right? And it's free. I mean, maybe $3-4 here on Amazon.
What's a
every
semester
now
called?
and then.
120 hours.
But knowledge is out there. I don't know. You know what? I should know. I have a bachelor's degree. I thought it was more than that.
It was like 100, 120.
I know I got like 128 credits.
But
I'm
Google it.
You know what? Here's the deal. We don't have to guess anymore. We got Google at our yeah. It just says 12 to 15 or 15 to 17 weeks. I'm gonna academic earn for 50-minute sessions. That's it. What did you say, Taylor? Taylor just jumped in.
Okay.
It's 120 credit hours But that's correct. That's the graduate. How much is 1 credit hour worth? I'm looking. 1 credit hour is 3 hours of student engagement per week.
Per week.
Okay, so we got to do math. Here, all math. Here. So I'm going to do, here we go. Hillbilly math. Right? 15, here we go. Hold on. 15, here we go. I'm just doing the math. 15 weeks, 3 hours a week per credit times 3, 135. So 135 hours in a class times 4, it's 540 hours. So, all right, now we go 365 divided by 540. That's 0.67. All right. So if you invest 1 hour a day, that's like going to 2/3 of a semester. Someone tell me if my math's fucking wrong. 3 hours per 1 credit hour.
The point is, if you're gonna be lazy, do it in a better way. And,
there you go.
And I know it sounds crass, but it's true. But that's what I'm saying. Try to learn something. Because if you're not learning,
something in your brain.
Anything. Yeah. And
put something in your brain that's going to get you to think about the world differently.
And it all leads to somewhere. Like the movies I like to watch, I like the storytelling. I like the knowledge behind it. That's why I like the movies like Wolf of Wall Street. I like the movies like Wall Street. Glenn Ross. These movies that are they're very inspirational because go to any sale. Okay, right now you can go to any car dealership. I guarantee you, they're gonna steal a line out of that freaking movie. They will. Oh, always been closing.
Glenn Ross, ABC. Always.
But you know what?
Always been closing. New Cadillac. Right? Steak knives. You're fired.
You watch any podcast.
I work.
I like watching. Okay, I like listening to Grant Cardone because of his personality. Okay, now. He's very great at what he does. But the cool thing is, the one thing he said is, there's no such thing as a no-sell call, and it's the same line off of a movie called Boiler Room, because it's true. Either you're getting sold or they're getting sold.
Yeah. Great. What's interesting is Boiler Room with Vin Diesel and Giovanni, what's his face? There we go. I can never pronounce that. He's one of the most underrated actors. I mean, he's a B-list actor, I think. And this is not a knock on him. I thought he was a great actor. Maybe he's just not tall enough to get the good roles. He killed it in. He did a great job in Saving Private Ryan. He's a good ass actor. Anyways, so Boiler Room was actually, a lot of people never saw that movie. That came out like 98, maybe. Let's take a look.
And
2000. It came out in 2000.
Of Wolf of Wall Street.
That was actually
a play. Yeah.
Of Wolf of Wall Street. Correct. It was Wolf of Wall Street, not approved. Oh, young Ben Affleck. Young Ben Affleck. Oh my God. This is back in the day when I had a buddy who worked at Blockbuster, and he got like 3 rentals a week. We used to skip class on the daily to watch. He would rent movies, VHS tapes and DVDs, and we would just sit in his basement and watch movies.
That's a great movie,
watch this movie again. What a badass movie that is! Great fucking movie. Again, I'm not saying be like these guys. These guys are terrible human beings, right? But there's. But they made Mission, right? Make Mission go fishing. Not gonna. Okay. So I'm in the Army Reserves. Still, I'm a career counselor, and my job as a career counselor, we used to be called retention officers, because my job is to keep your ass right, keep troops in boots, and I don't mince about that, right? Now, on a personal level, my job is to make sure you make the best decision for you and your family based on the information available. So what I can control there is making sure you have all the information, right? My job is retention, but I had this math sergeant. Fuck, it's going to piss me off. I can't remember his name. He was a Puerto Rican dude from the Bronx. We had nothing in common, but he was badass as fuck. He never lived in the Midwest in his life. But all he said to me was like, hey, Sergeant Weins, make mission, go fishing. And that was his thing. Once you made your numbers for the year, he's like, man, I'm going to leave you alone. Check in, take care of your troops. If I don't hear from your troops, go about your business. So there you go. You got to give credit for where credit is deserved. I want to say it's Cassiano, like Master on Cassiano. Anyways, make mission, go fishing, and that's it.
And there's also, hey, look,
you got to pick up all these things.
You think of the things like, hey, what do I have to do? Even if you do it and it's sloppy, you fucking did it. Try something, man. Try. I would actually tell people, hey, look, go and do estimates that you think are out of your league, just so you can have to go through the steps. Oh my
Fuck
God,
yeah.
I have to get a resource for tires, mattresses, this. It's like, I don't know where to start. That's how you learn.
I remember walking into, when I was doing a lot of commercial guts and commercial demos, I'd walk in and there's like 50 other contractors. They got like 4 or 5 people. They got plans. They got hard hats, safety vests. I walk in 5 minutes late, you know, with a toothpick in my mouth. And I'm like, all right, boys, what walls are coming down? Right. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, can I borrow your pen? Hey, can I borrow your fucking Sharpie? Can I borrow your plans? Oh yeah, that. Again, eventually I'm like,
you might have a notepad.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden they're looking at me like I'm the asshole.
Dude,
I'm like,
hey, will you send me those pictures you're taking? Thanks.
Right, but 100%, I would say shit like that. And I won some of those fucking jobs, right? Because at the end of the day, I could still talk myself into the fucking sale, but that's just my style. I'm not a pen and paper kind of guy. I would just take notes on my fucking phone, and I'd be standing there. I send a proposal, and they're like, all right, proposals are due in 30 days. I'm like, I just sent it to you. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, why don't you review it right now? Make sure right, because all the other guys would have these big printed out sheets. I would just take the digital version, the Adobe. I would sit there on my phone and just copy and paste every room, right? There'd be like, 1 through 7 was all the demo things. I would just copy and paste, drop it in, put some numbers behind it, take a shot, whatever. But anyways, like, and I won a lot of bids for this construction company doing that for a number of years because I had the balls to do it. And now at the end of the day, I was throwing numbers at the wall to see what would fucking stick. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it did. But every step along the way, I learned. So this is the lesson I've taken from this. And this is, I get into debates with my girlfriend sometimes about this, but hey, it is what it is, right? I'd rather someone show up late, do something poorly than not show up at all. And that's the truth. If you don't show up, or if you show up, if you think, if I show up late, I can't get it done. Or, hey, if I don't do it all the way, it's not worth doing. No, it's better. It's better to go out there and run a fucking half a mile than no miles at all. I don't give a shit if your goal was a fucking marathon or 1 mile. A half mile is better than nothing, because now tomorrow you can run a half mile, and now you can do another half mile. You can add to it. You can always add to it. If you have this mindset that I used to be like 100%. That's why it took years for me to start a business. I convinced myself that I had to have all this shit to take the first step, and I was dead fucking wrong. You can take the first step.
You're going to trip.
Now, you might trip, but it's better to trip. If you trip, you're still farther than where you fucking started. Like, right, trip forward. Fall early, fall often. Just fall fucking forward.
People ask me how I got into demolition. My first demo, I lost $6,000, and I was a small business. And my mom and stepdad,
that was at your driveway.
They were in charge of everything, and I had to convince them to do another demo.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Why?" Like, we had to come out of pocket $6,000 to do a job. But it's because I knew what I did wrong. I learned. Now, did it suck? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I learned from it. And
that was one semester. That was one semester of college.
And the thing is, I also did the entire job 80% myself and 20% my brother. And we
still lost money.
I was out there.
You still lost money.
Dude, no shit. Just for a damn driveway removal. It was 1,200 linear feet long. It was long. But I got a mini bulldozer out there. It was a 933. Okay. I got a 4-wheel loader. I had 2 skid steers and a backhoe with a hammer attachment. And then I called in the trucks, who screwed me on price, all the concrete and dirt. And all that I did in a week by myself, mostly. And it was terrible. I mean, 12, 13, 14-hour days. Now, and now I
to lose $6,000. To lose 12 to lose 1,200
now, I look
bucks
at
a
the
day.
jobs. I'm like, okay, I'll look at it and be like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Hey, demo company that is hungry. How much would you charge for this? Awesome. Sounds good. Let's do this, because then at that time, I'm just going to sub it out. And if it's too complex, I'll be a part of it. But for the most part, dude, sub it out. Just run it. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather say, hey, man, I'll cover this because they effed up, but they're gone, and now I can figure it out, than try to do it myself and then come out of pocket $6,000. Like, something has to be said when they're like, hey, here's your money. And you're like, oh, this isn't enough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you. Oh yeah. You can't go back to a customer with your fucking handout, right? That's the other thing. I've also seen that. I've told this to contractors. If a contractor sends me a bid and they ask for more money later, I'll always pay it. But that's the last time I'm fucking calling them. I hired them to be the professionals. I hired them to ask the questions I didn't know what to ask. I hired them to be smarter than me. And if they're not, they're never going to get my job again. Now, if they come to me and say, hey, I fucked up and this job cost me money, I'd be like,
yeah,
all right, lesson learned. You got two options. I either pay you the money you think I owe you now, right? Or option two is you fucking eat it and we figure it out on the next one. But if you take door number one,
so that's
I'm not going to hire you again.
When I was in Florida, that was part of the reason I was so stressed. I did a job here in my hometown and lost my ass. There was triple the concrete. And it was all underground. There's no way of seeing it, knowing it. But I also didn't put in my quote, if there's more concrete, this is how much you're going to be paying. I left, I didn't think about it. I made the mistake.
No.
And when I told the customer.
That was your response. Yeah. It was a choice. I hate the word mistake.
It was a choice that I made.
You made. Yeah.
But I told the customer, and when I texted him, I wasn't asking for anything. I said, hey, just to let you know, there's a ton more concrete underground. It's just taking a little bit longer, and it's going to be costing us a little bit more time and money. And I was waiting for him to talk first. I wasn't going to ask for it. But you know what? He didn't say shit. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. This sucks. Let's just get the job done.
Correct. That's what you informed him. So how'd that work out?
The job's done. I'm licking my wounds, and he calls me. He's walking the property. Hey, man. So where's the fence? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, dude, the whole fence in the front's gone. I'm like, yeah, it was a shitty fence. He goes, well, we wanted to keep it. And I was like, shit. And, I think I remember him saying something about that. So I said, you're absolutely right. I guess I got to replace your chain link fence. So I replaced his chain link fence, but I told him up front. So he paid me the balance of the job. So I was grateful for that. And then at that point in time, it was all integrity. I was like, when I get back from Florida, one of my priorities is I'm going to go and put that fence up. So you know what I did? But I told him, I go, hey, just to give you a heads up, I'm not a fence builder. Never have put a chain link up. I'm going to give it my all. I'll make sure it's sturdy. But the fence that we took down was even shittier than any other fence. Yeah. So you're still coming out on top. And I did it. And when I was done with it, it took me 2 hours. It looked like absolute dog shit, but it worked. It was a fence. It was a 6-foot chain link fence. And I walked away and I said, babe, I told my wife, I was like, I'm done with this job. Like, we're good. I lost my ass in the job. Probably made $0. Moving on. Like, nope. If he calls me and say, hey, this fence looks terrible, I'm not even going to take it back. I'm like, I told you up front, I don't build fences. You wanted me to replace it? I replaced it. Now, here's why I didn't hire that shit out. Because I got 7 quotes, and the minimum was $1,200. And I was like,
what did you do it for? About $250?
$400.
$300
in 2 hours of my time. But it was a $7,000 job, and I probably broke even. Actually, minus the fence material and shit. But you know what, though? I kept my word.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I promise you, every day I was looking and trying to get this thing figured out. I was like, I've been paid. I can walk away at any point now. Like, F this guy. But I didn't. You know why? Because I have integrity. Like, I was like, I got to get this off my chest, off my shoulders, get it done, and then move on. So that's what I did.
Well, the thing is, not every we know we've been doing this for long enough. Even after all these years, 6-7 years of us both doing it full time, there's jobs that don't go the way we plan on, and that right, and that's part of life. So we'll put a bow on this episode with that, right? It's about the choices you make, and that sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. Recognize where you're at as an entrepreneur, and then understand that your actions or inactions have a direct result on what opportunities come your way next. So today is all about opportunities. Luck is there for those that are prepared. So prepare yourself by going out there, failing fast, failing early, failing often. But when you fail, when you fall, just fall forward. Trip, fall, show up to fucking life, fall forward. We'll see you next week on episode 17 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. I'm Eddie Weins. He's Casey Bubba Lawrence. When you go out to this world, fall early, fall often, just fall fucking forward.
Too. Dumpster area.
Yeah. Really? That's how you're going to end the episode? Dumpster area? Next week's